What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, and we're all back together after a week off. And a shout out to the man himself, the Will Venable Commander Army man himself, joining us last week. But we're back in full force here, and it was another decent week as a White Sox fan. Things are kind of seeming to get a little bit better, and last week they were one game under. We were thinking they were going to be at 500 after Monday's game, but they didn't. They lost 2 out of 3 against the Angels. But I mean, after sweeping them, I guess that's not so bad. And then we went against Seattle and took 2 out of 3 at home. So it's not been another bad week. And let's welcome back the guys, Justin and Deech. How we doing, guys?
How's it going, Tino?
I appreciate you guys coming back. I was worried you guys weren't going to come back. I don't know if I was going to let you back in after the couple weeks we've had. So, but how have you guys felt about the last couple weeks and everything going on? And, I mean, I think the last time you guys were here, we were 6 games under. I think we were 11 and 17. So a lot's changed since then.
Is that for real?
Yeah, 11 and 17 is the last episode you two were on.
Well, shit, I don't even know how you even sum up the last 2 weeks and that then. Good then, right?
Yeah, I mean, it throws you off because we do it on Mondays now. Like I was used to Thursdays last year, so you really there's a big gap now if you miss a week. So that does make sense.
It's been fun though to be a White Sox fan again. I think that's been the biggest thing. I feel like it's making the summer go by a little bit quicker. Shit, it's already going to be the middle of May. I feel like so. It's crazy how fast this is coming. And they were showing it last year. We were 19 and 53 when we got our 19th win. So, I mean, just the amount of progress that they've made in this past.
I think it was 19 and 42 last year, 53 the year prior. But either way, 19 and 42 is double the losses before getting to 19 wins. So, I mean, the point stands. It's
and that last year, I believe I saw May 30th was the exact date that they got their 19th win last year. So, I mean,
yeah, because they didn't start actually doing anything really until Colston came up during the 4th of July. It's kind of when I feel like these guys kind of all started playing together. Because I know Chase and Edgar came up pretty early last year. So, I don't know. Don't get me started on Edgar Quero. So, Deech, if you want to take over and start talking about everything, it's all yours now. Welcome back.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, just bouncing off of the past week, I think what was big is Saturday and Sunday being able to pull off those 2 wins after going on a 3-game losing streak. To me, that was my biggest concern is if you did not play well against Seattle and wound up just getting your asses handed to you at home, it was going to just get worse with the upcoming schedule this week. So it was nice to get some home wins under our belt there. Speaking of that, they're now 9-9 at home, which is good because they kind of got off to somewhat of a shitty start at home, which they had been playing the last couple of years. I feel like that was the only place they could play relatively well. I mean, compared to what they were doing. So, and then on the road, they're 10-12. So I can't say I'm thrilled with that, but it could obviously be way worse.
Well, I think when you take into account for the road, and it's not like they've been playing world beaters on the West Coast trips, but they've been out. They've played a ton of their West Coast games. They only have one more trip out there. I think next week they go to Seattle and San Francisco. So when you take into account that, yes, it's 10-12, but that, the West Coast can just be such a bugaboo, I think, for a lot of teams. I don't really know if that's unique to the White Sox. Oakland's whatever. They're in first place. They're not that good. They won 2 out of 3 there. They won 2 out of 3 in Arizona. You want the Angels one back, but at least you swept them at home. You still finish with the winning record against them. I think those are important context, I suppose. But yeah, no, it's good to be back to 500 at home. It was getting a little aggravating there at the beginning of the year.
That's not crazy too, because they're 5-1 then in the last, because they were 4-8 at one point, so they're 5-1 in the last 6 at home, which is, I think, really impressive.
Well, because didn't they get swept at home pretty early on?
They did. They've been swept twice at home by Tampa Bay and Baltimore, haven't they?
Okay, yeah.
I
knew it was early on too. So that's been good. I know some people don't really care about run differential, but it is down to -14. I mean, the past 2 years we were like negative 200, negative
No, yeah.
300. So,
Oh my goodness.
and at one point they were like negative, I don't know, like 70, like to start this season, because there were a lot of those early on games where they would just get lit up.
Yeah.
So it's progress. I think if the offense keeps playing around the level where at least 2 out of 3 games in the series they're kind of mashing the ball, they should be okay. And hey, yeah, we're currently in second place and hold the third wild card spot. So I don't know if that's
You tell me that in freaking January, I think I would have took it. Not records, but I mean, man, the way the AL is playing in general is like a travesty. We're the 5th best team in the American League right now.
We're tied with Texas for the 5th best in the American League, and it's an indictment on the state of the American League. It really, in particular, Houston and Boston both becoming kind of shitty and irrelevant are, that's kind of a changing of the guard. Boston's been pretty bad for a few years now, but as bad as they are, those are, usually 2 teams you count on being there for the past however long.
That's a good point.
And so it's kind of the new dogs now. Someone will win the Central. You got to think. I mean, someone is going to get hot in the wild card race and like establish themselves there. The Yankees and Tampa are both really good. The rest is, I will see what happens.
Now, do you think the AL being as bad as it is has the general Sox fan population too excited about how they're playing right now? Or do you think at this point, who knows what could happen? Could they sustain at least close to 500 till the All-Star break and trade deadline? And then who knows where you're at because of how weak our division is?
Yeah, I don't have my finger on the pulse in terms of like, oh, this is what people are saying.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from it because it's just a cesspool. I say that endearingly to a degree, but everyone's got their opinions, and you just get flooded with different takes on everything. I think that the average Sox fan, take Twitter out of the equation, understands that right now they're overachieving, and because of how bad the American League is, they've put themselves in a decent spot. And I think that the average person would tell you something along the lines of someone needs to win the Central. And that might, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's going to be, why can't it be us? Because at some point, I mean, it's either going to be, and the one thing too is, and Chuck said it on the podcast he had today, is that they haven't really played anybody in the American League. Like, we played the Royals this week, but we've played the Royals a couple times. I don't think we've played the Twins.
We've played 4 games against the Royals. Are the only division games we've played. And
so that's going to be a big telling sign when everybody starts fighting each other. And I mean, as long as I think if we could play decent against the division, I mean, who knows where we could be.
That is the biggest what if, because the division is shitty, but we've played so bad against them the past few years.
Well, and that's the thing. And even like the way we played against the Royals in that series, it's like we split, but that felt like a win to us. And it's just like, even if they do that, and if they can just keep winning series and win 1 out of 3 and everything, who knows where the standings sit at the time and everything. And you said it perfectly. We are overachieving, and that's the realistic thing of it, because they are playing so well and everything. But that's the thing, it's been so bad for the last 3 years. It's like, let's just enjoy it. And that's what I've been telling everybody. It's like, it's been so bad. Why not just enjoy this, that we're finally watching them play baseball the way that we've wanted them to play for so long, that it's not a chore to watch a White Sox game, where now, like today, it sucks the Sox don't play. I want to watch Murakami or somebody hit a couple home runs and see if we get the picks to click. Like, I look forward to that every day now, where the last 3 years it's, oh, we got to watch a Sox game. We got to do this. They're going to get their ass kicked, blah, blah, blah. And it's just fine. And they got one of the best pitching staffs in the league. And I think that's been the biggest surprise, is that how good the pitching staff has done, especially Davis Martin, because nobody had him on the bingo card for this year. So, and I mean, who had Drew Romo and freaking Randall Grichuk hitting a home run and a double in the 9th inning or bottom of the 8th on Sunday. So that's just where I'm at with this. It's fun to watch these guys actually go out there and play. And as you guys have been at the stadium, I mean, it's so much fun, it seems. So that's how I feel.
The vibes are definitely better at the stadium. you have less people who are just there being like going there just to be negative the entire time, which at least annoys the shit out of me because I just see it as why even bother going. But so I was trying to think. There was something. Oh, I think really ultimately at this point you just can't really get swept by any of the divisional teams because that will definitely cause a ton of distance in the standings or make it a lot harder to climb out of. But on top of that, I just think not going on losing streaks or trying to keep them to a minimal would be essential for them to even have some sort of push where Getz is sitting there not going all in as a buyer at the deadline. But if they can stick in it enough, he said, you obviously would need to explore it then. You can't just say to the fan base, well, no, it doesn't really matter at all. So he seemed to have a lot of positive quotes. I saw Scott Merkin tweeted on Friday regarding how well they're playing and stuff like that. So it's more convincing Jerry and Ishbia or whoever is kind of who knows exactly who has the main say, but
right. And well, what they need to do because it's so young, like when you talk about the losing streaks, is you have to keep the morale and momentum high, and maybe them being young is a good thing when it comes to like having a few games skid like they just had last week, and like they don't get deterred by it because they haven't really been through some of the really bad. A lot of these guys, but at the same time though, because they're so young, yeah, you can't have like the 1 in 5 weeks, and where that, especially with how bunched up it is, like you said, you just got to keep. Right now, treading water has been good enough.
Yeah,
whatever. We're a quarter of the way through the season. Treading water has them right in it from the division in the wild card. Again, I think the wild card window will taper off because there's just no way that someone else isn't going to catch fire. Like, let's assume Texas is better than us. They just looked really good against the Cubs this weekend. Then that other, but the Central, though, I mean, I'm not ready to sit here and say that's a pipe dream. I'm not calling it them saying I'm in favoring it happening, but I'm until someone is like, okay, that's the team, which you always are just kind of waiting on Cleveland. It'll look up in June or July and it'll be like, well, Cleveland's won 14 of 16.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm more afraid of is I don't know if they have that next gear, the Sox, and I'm worried that, Cleveland does just because of the pedigree of the organization, that's just what they do is they win the Central.
Now, let me ask you this. I'll skip ahead to one of the topics I wanted to touch just based off of adding that extra gear like you were making reference to. Kyle Teel finally, they announced, is going on his rehab assignment starting tomorrow. With that, does adding a player like him with a catching spot that has obviously, I mean, even Drew Romo's batting under 200. It's not like he's like tearing the cover off the ball or anything. I mean, he's had clutch hits at certain points, but you're not getting enough production out of the catcher spot, in my opinion. If he comes back and is serviceable, is that something that you could see pushing us to the next level or at least nudging us that way?
Nudging, sure. Again, like you said, it's been a wasteland of a position. I know Romo's got his few homers. He's still hitting like 160. Caro has been, and Caro's in one of those grooves right now where it just seems like groove's the worst word possible to use for this. Caro seems to always come up when he's the last person you want at the plate, notably the last out in that Anaheim game on Tuesday. And you could tell it's in his head. He had that earlier that game in Anaheim, the second game, Tuesday game, he finally scored one up and just smoked it to the wrong part of the park. And Trout ran it down, and he was so mad. Like, you can tell that he's just really frustrated. That's a whole side tangent. Yes, Teel can be, if he's healthy and can, hit. I worry sometimes with the leg, and they're like, he can't get his power into his, like, kind of what Cal Raleigh's going through right now. They're talking about him having oblique problems, and he can't, his numbers are suffering because of it. But that's a nudge for sure. Assuming that he has good rapport with the pitchers right now, because like Tino said, that's been the surprise strength of the team. But yeah, it's one more useful bat in the lineup. It's huge.
So then, Tino, with him going on his rehab assignment, if you were to guess, how long do you think they have him spend time down there?
I heard a report that he wanted to come back on Friday. I don't know if that's true, but
I mean, I think that's just the competitor in him.
Yeah, I know,
I would not. If there's any risk in just like
No, I
rushing this process, I would not just be like, "Oh, it's the Cubs Sox series. We like
I wouldn't
have to
either,
have him here."
especially like I said, you don't want to rush him back, and especially the way we're playing. It's like the way I would probably wait maybe a whole week, give him like the in White Sox week schedule, give them the Royals, Cubs, and the Seattle series, and I think we have next Thursday off or Monday off. So then I bring them back like next Friday, the 23rd or whatever that is. I think would be give him like a week and a half in AAA and see how it goes, and if he's doing it or if he needs more time. It just that's the thing. It's just don't rush him back. But Edgar Carroll's got that Yohan Moncada mentality right now for me. He just goes up there, he looks at the ball, he swings, and he like you said, he gets so frustrated, and that's what he's just so in his head. I don't know what it's gonna do to fix him. Maybe he's somebody who needs to go down. Maybe they keep Romo and send Edgar down for a couple of days. I don't know.
You have to do that at this point because you can't. Caro's not going to get it figured out by now. He's a backup catcher and he's not playing every day. Caro needs to be the one to go when Teal comes back so that Caro can play every day in AAA. They can work with him and figure out what the hell's wrong with him. That's in my opinion, at least. Like with these series of backup, he's not going to fix it by getting less at bats behind Kyle Teal. And the whole it's so funny coming into the year, and we're like, well, they're DH, whoever isn't catching, and it's funny how it never goes as planned, good or bad.
Literally. And I don't think Romo has any more options left either. So you'd have to DFA him and hope that he would clear waivers. Caro has options too. So I don't feel like, not that his defense has been bad this year, but the whole pitch clock thing clearly fucks with his head sometimes. Or not the pitch clock, the challenging of pitches.
Yeah, he's bad at ABS.
Did you guys see that stat that he's like 15 over the second catcher in the MLB right now? He's got like 27, and this was like a week ago. So I can't imagine how many more he has now.
Missed challenges?
Like just challenges in general and missed challenges. Yeah, it was 27 that he's called like in the whole season so far out of catchers in the MLB. He was number one by like a landslide. I was like, geez, bro. But this was like a week and a half ago, so he's probably in the 40s now.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that, but I believe it.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing with but I mean I will say the one thing about the ABS is I just like that they're finally getting the calls right. Like at least it's the right call, and at least even if it goes against us, it is what it is because we've seen it go for us too, and I've just really enjoyed it. And the way they do it, it doesn't take up too much time in the game. I feel like. How do you guys feel like that does at the stadium? Like, does it just feel like the same it does on TV?
Yeah, it's no different. I don't like ABS. It's an unpopular opinion. I could go without it. It's not that I think it's a bad thing. I just don't need it.
I think with ABS, I like it to an extent, but my big gripe with it is more so just how the Sox have strategically used it this year.
Maybe that's
I get really pissed off when it's like the second inning and Carroll or one of our batters are just like, and it's one where you're not like a millimeter off. It's like blatantly the ump made the right fucking call. Just don't do that.
Yeah, and it's selfish too for the batter, especially when they use it early in the game. Like you're only thinking about your own at bat, man. There is a lot more to this game than this at bat.
Yeah, so that's where I get frustrated. Is more just how they've used it.
That's a very good point too, because you guys are absolutely right on those. So it's just got to be more strategic about it, and that.
Well, because I think it was one of the Seattle games. Seattle burned through their challenges, and then there were blatant pitches that if they had them, they could have reversed. I mean, it can impact the game more towards the end, I feel, is when it's best used. Like, you better be at least in the late 7th inning, pushing 8th, 9th, before you even start thinking that. I just don't understand, first inning and the ball's, not even a ball, and we have fucking batters tapping their head, and I don't know. That's
Do you
my
think
big.
that should be a strategy, guys? Like a manager's being like, "Hey, guys, don't do it till the seventh inning," because you're absolutely right. Like it helped a lot. Like the one game last week, we won because Edgar got those 2 calls in the ninth. I forgot who it was against, but I mean that's the thing. Where I think that'd be a good strategic. Where it's like, yeah, it sucks to lose it in the beginning, but it's so beneficial at the end of the game.
I'm sure it is, and I'm sure teams talk about it, even the Sox. But I think that sometimes it might just be like habit. Like at this point, it's because now they've had a month, whatever, 6 weeks of it under their belt, and you're like, you just instinctively go to do it when you disagree with the call.
Yeah,
That's true.
and it can be like emotionally driven too.
Right, yeah.
Where if you're pissed, you're like, damn it. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, fuck, you just burned one of our charges or our challenges. So,
Yeah, like instinctive, just reactionary, not thought through. So, yeah, I'm sure they get told the strategy is whatever.
Then moving on, obviously with the record being 19-21, it's a significant improvement from really any baseball we've seen in recent years. I had a few things I kind of picked out that I just thought show the progress that they've made, because essentially, and they're more offensive categories. We're essentially last in almost every category, I felt, the last couple of years offensively. So, I mean, we are tied for 6th right now for home runs with 51 with the Cubs, which is, I mean, pretty good company to be keeping there. I mean, the Cubs are on a roll. So, 28 stolen bases, which is 16th in the league, which seems to be a huge improvement. I felt like the last couple of years, no one stole, or when they would try, it was horrible decisions on the base pass generally. And then they have 154 walks that they've taken, which is 12th in the league. So again, that seems like progress because plate discipline has been an issue for years. So is there anything else you guys see that stands out that you think is really contributing to this momentum?
Biggest thing is the home runs. That, and you really forget how much it can help a game out, a team out, when it's been as pedestrian as it's been the past few years. They were 1 for 9 on Saturday with runners in scoring position, but they hit 3 homers and drove in 5 runs with those swings. So it didn't matter because you can cover up. The long ball covers up so many other issues. And that includes the fact that it's 3 guys hitting all of them, and that the bottom of the order still sucks for the most part. I mean, at least they're not. I shouldn't say sucks. I was singing Tristan Peters' praises this weekend, talking about how much I like him as a center fielder, but they're not. They're not the big boppers. They're not, and so it makes up for so much. That in terms of improving the offensive rankings and the team standing as a whole, it's the home runs. And
go ahead.
Big shout out to Vargas for some situational hitting on Sunday with the sac fly in the 8th. Not trying to do too much, just get the run home. They got him over and got him in. It was great. You know, that's
how we won the game, and that's the biggest thing too. Is they're winning games like that. They're not relying just on one thing. They're winning games where. When was the last time we saw them actually win a game like that, where they got a sacrifice fly, got the guy in, and yes, Dominguez is not the greatest closer in the world, but he got the job done, and we won the game. So
it almost killed me in the process, but yeah,
it's never easy as a White Sox fan. I've just been telling. That's it. It's just never easy.
So. Vargas too had that 2 home run game on Saturday, and the one of them he hit like 112 miles per hour, which is the hardest hit, I believe, home run of his career. So yeah, I mean, his power is popping right now.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the home runs. It's specifically Vargas, Montgomery, and Murakami that they have 3 legit bats in the lineup. And frankly, the past couple of years, 24 especially, 0. They had 0. There was they had nobody in the lineup, and now they have some bashers, and you have found a good leadoff hitter in Antonacci.
Chase, you guys see this man doing the fucking like
about it?
What'd you say?
Chase Madras on a 10-game hitting streak. He's hitting 278.
Chase?
Yeah, no one's talking about it.
Let's not talk about it. Let's just.
That's because they're all concerned about fucking Jacob Gonzalez getting called up because he's raking in AAA. That's getting a little annoying too.
I've not seen Jacob Gonzalez's name one time.
Yeah, you got me there, man. Because it's just constant. Like that's been the new fixation. Is like Jacob Gonzalez. It's like we really don't have roster spots, and unless he's like just mashing for power down there, I don't know that you just put like DFA someone just to see what he can do.
You don't mess up the vibe of the team right now either. They clearly they want him to come up and be their everyday second baseman. And these guys all clearly like Chase. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
And I mean, they're all freaking going out to dinners. They're going out for sushi. They
were out partying last night.
Like, when was the last time a White Sox
was
team
dancing
partied?
at the club or whatever the hell they were at, or bar.
I mean, Chase is making TikToks with his girlfriend. So I mean, this is just what the world we're living in now. I mean, imagine if any of the other White Sox players tried to do that. I mean, the best thing we got was Luis eating fucking Domino's.
Yeah, for
guy.
So we touched on Davis Martin a little bit earlier, but I got to sing his praises a little bit here. He's been outstanding. And I used to think he wasn't a strikeout pitcher, really. Like, I know he could get, like 5 a game, but what does he have? 9 and 10 his last two? He had 10 against the Angels. And then yesterday he pitched. Yeah, I think he had 9 again. So, I mean.
You know what, man? He knows how to pitch. That's kind of a lost art these days because he doesn't have the best stuff. So the closest thing it can remind me of in recent memory for the Sox is kind of post-injury Lucas Giolito when he got up to the majors and he kind of had to reinvent. He kind of lost the big velocity on his fastball, and he just kind of started learning how to hit his spots and, good mix of pitches in his arsenal. And he just attacks guys. That Monday game in Anaheim, he had 10 strikeouts, but he also had no walks, right? That's awesome. That for me is even more like, you know me. Nothing gets me more aggravated than walks and when guys are out there and they can't find the strike zone. So he's not overthinking it, man. He's just confident and he's going after guys. I appreciate the hell out of that. Yesterday he went over 100 pitches. Guys don't do that anymore either.
Yeah.
He's fired up. And that, they had no hits after the first inning. The Sox yesterday, he had to do everything he could to keep them in the game. He kept it at 1-0 and ended up winning 2-1. So you're right. We can't sing his praises
enough. Tino, do you think this is the new Davis Martin where it's sustainable throughout the season? And I'm not saying he's going to have a sub-2 ERA all season by any means. That's pretty unheard of nowadays anyways. But as much of can you feel this confident in him? And do you think it will continue where you're just like, he's the ace of our staff?
Well, I mean, I definitely think he's the ace of the staff. And the way he's going out there right now, the swagger he's got, he just don't care. His shit don't stink, and he's just going out there throwing strikes, playing catch with the catcher, whoever's catching. And that's been nice to see because he's the last one standing from the 2019 teams. And I don't think anybody had that on our bingo card with Davis Martin being the ace of our staff with the way our starting pitchers were in the beginning of the year. And I mean, just it's nice to know we have the guy that we can go out there and rely on, and he's going out there and proving it every single start. And like you guys said, the 10 strikeouts, the 100 pitches, we don't see that anymore. And it was weird yesterday. I was watching because I was going back and forth, and he was still out there. I'm like, it's the 5th, the 6th. I think he got to the 7th inning, right? So, I mean, it was nice to see, and it helps the bullpen. I mean, we've talked about it for years. The bullpen has been coming in the 3rd, 4th inning, and the fact that now we have a couple starters that can get to the 5th, 6th, 7th inning, that it's so helpful and everything kind of clicks. So I think he can definitely continue this. And I mean, he could very well be an all-star for the White Sox. And who knows, the White Sox should have like 4 or 5 all-stars at this point if they could keep this up for the next month. So
now, do you think he will sustain it, Justin?
Well, like you said, it's all relative. Like sustain this below 2 ERA is a ridiculous
No, I wasn't saying that, but enough for you just like
you preface it with that. Like obviously no one's expecting, like you don't expect this, but yeah, man. I mean, it's not like, I mean, I look at some of the teams he's faced. Like he was great against San Diego, right? No, I don't think he pitched in that series. Scratch that. But in terms of if he's going to be the ace of the staff moving forward, I don't know, but he's a beyond serviceable major league pitcher. That's for sure.
I just think it's interesting because it really doesn't matter what lineup or opponent he's had to face this year. It's pretty much been the same stuff, very limited on his walks. And
yeah,
he really doesn't give up a lot of hard contact either. It's like another thing I've noticed this year. I mean, obviously other seasons, who knows, but they said he like reinvented himself and this is like the best he's felt just on and off the field. In quite some time. So now he does have, I believe, 4 years of control after this season. Even though he's, I believe, is 28 or 29. Some people think things you may not have seen because you're not on Twitter as much, Justin. There has been a little chatter of like, should we at the deadline see what we can get for Davis Martin? I personally am just going to flat out come out and say I have no desire to go down that road anymore. I'm over it. We've gutted every fucking position or valued asset that we've had to get where we are now. So I'm all against it, but I just figured I'd ask both of you, would you listen to calls? You're not even bothering to take calls or really give an answer to people regarding him, or would you at least explore it? What do you feel on that one?
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Honestly, I mean that's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Some people, I feel like their brains are broken because of how much they had to tear it down. Because really, Sox fans haven't seen it that bad in how many years? Man. Like where you just gutted Getz really tore it all apart. So.
Yeah, now it's building back. They got rid of everybody that they were going to get rid of. As far as I'm concerned, there's nobody on this team that they don't think if they perform to the maximum of their capabilities can be a part of this team a few years from now when they're really ready to compete for something. So, no,
I'm on the same page, Tino.
I figured.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys on that because, like you said, I mean, we've traded everything, and what are we gonna? Like, it just can't be this revolving cycle. Eventually, we have to have a core of guys that we can go out there and play with that can go. And these are the guys: Vargas, Montgomery, Chase, Murakami. And yeah, the outfield isn't the greatest, but I mean, hopefully when Braden comes up, he's mashing. He's been doing very well in AAA. So who knows? He could very well be the next, like Colston Montgomery, where he comes in late or early July, late July, August, somewhere around there. And who knows? He helps the team even more. So I think that they just stay in. Chuck said it best on the podcast this morning. They're still rebuilding, they're whatever, but they're past that part of the rebuild stage. They're done trading the guys. Let's now build and see. And like Justin just said, where if they want to add to these guys and compete in a few years, that's what they can do. But I want to be able to buy a damn jersey. Like, come on, shit. So, yeah, no, don't trade nobody. I mean, honestly, the only person I think they could trade at the deadline if they are out of it is maybe Dominguez because he's 2 years deal or something like that, right? A year.
Yeah, he's 2 and 20.
So maybe because they will always
that's
deadline.
Yeah.
So
that's probably about it. Is Dominguez, but even then though, it's like
if we're in it, why not keep him? I mean, he's been bad, he's been stressful, but he gets the job done, and that's something we haven't had in a while. So
he got his ERA down to under 4 now. He's been on a hot streak, although it's that fucking let's load the goddamn bases
that's
and
what
walk
it is.
A guy
like,
who's
dude. The guy is hitting 120. He didn't even throw him a competitive pitch and walked him on 4 pitches to load the bases yesterday. That's that's why walks drive me up a wall, dude.
Well, I remember. I think I texted you during, and I was like, "That was like the worst hitter on their team."
That was horrible. That was.
And what was odd is then Bove comes out and says something to him, and then he goes and fucking just is focused back. To me, that's what's bothersome is he shouldn't need the pitching coach to fucking go out there and say something. You're like a veteran closer. You've literally, wasn't he in the World Series last year?
Yeah, he wasn't their closer, but yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying you've been in bigger moments than
No, I mean
shut
you're
down
right.
Seattle.
You're right. Yeah.
On a Sunday Kids Day. Yeah, but
So the only other starter I just wanted to highlight is Anthony K. His last 2 starts has been pretty serviceable. I'm not saying he's been great, but from what he had early on, some of his outings with the excessive walks and everything, it's toned down and he seems to have found somewhat of a little groove. I would say with him, if he for some reason caught fire in a bottle or whatever the hell they want to call it, maybe you flip him at the deadline if a team's looking for pitching because, well, it all depends on all these injuries. You have Tanner, who's now hurt. Shane's hurt. Hagen Smith does not look like he is going to be a starter when he comes up. I think he got through, it was either 3 or 4 innings, and then the wheels fell off on his last outing, and he gave up like 5 earned runs or something. So at a certain point, if he's ready to pitch in the majors, but he's not going to be a starter, then at least get him up here and just be like, you're going to build innings in the majors because it does you no good to sit and just keep blowing it by people for 4 innings and then you can't go any further.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he just becomes that guy where he does the 2-3 innings or something like that. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, we drafted this guy to be a starter, so kind of worried.
Yeah, and I think he will be. And I'm not even the biggest fan of his. I've aired out how I felt about that pick more times on the show than has been necessary at all. But for this year specifically is what you're me and Deech that it's not. He could be down the road a starter, but like this year, if you're going to get them into the bigs and just come out of the pen and give us 2-3 innings where we're needed.
Yeah, I just think it's a better. I mean, because then you're actually facing the cream of the crop talent versus, I mean, the fucking assholes on their rehab assignment or whatever in AAA.
How about Garrett Cole throwing at
I was just about to say,
what's going on with that?
This fucking guy.
He's a mental midget. I hate Garrett Cole.
I used to like him before he decided to sign with the Yankees. And then I was just like, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I needed that, Justin. Thank you.
Kermit the Frog.
And it was because Bonnemer homered off him, right?
Yeah, he had 2 hits. And one of them was the homer. And then, yeah, I mean, come on. You can tell when a guy's hitting a guy on purpose.
And isn't Bonnemer in like single A? So
yeah,
he's pitching in like a fucking.
What the hell is Garrett Cole doing rehabbing in high A?
Oh,
getting lit up by Caleb Bonnemer.
Yeah.
That's like what's it? Trevor Bauer's like offering to start in like low A ball and for free, and then It's just like, shut up already, dude. You burned your bridge.
Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
Bullpen shout outs. I mean, we touched on Sir Anthony Dominguez. He has actually been good, although it's a more stressful version of Alex Colomé, which I thought that was like kind of my limit of what I could watch when a closer comes in for a game. But Sean Newcomb's been pretty fucking damn good. Grant Taylor obviously just can blow it past anyone if his location and his stuff is on. I mean, it's just wicked. And then Brian Hudson, my boy, who I've been hyping up the last couple of shows. I think he is under a 1 ERA. Yeah. And his moment the other night when he got all worked up after he got out of the inning, I think he had a guy on, I think it was first and third.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, dude, I don't know. One of those random gems that gets found that we actually had on the roster last year and cut at the end of the season. So
it's Deecher's pitcher of the year. Deecher, you realize you have a pitcher every year that you like love in the bullpen or starting pitcher, and it's so great. I love
Who was it
Brian
last
Hudson
year?
is that year? Is this year? I mean, but he's been doing good, and I mean the way if the bullpen works out the way it could, they could go Taylor, Hudson, Newcomb, and Dominguez. I feel like are the 4 guys like when they're in a winning situation are the 4 that I trust the most.
Now, would you
go business optioning Leisure and Bevo?
Oh
Yeah.
that's right. You guys haven't
whatever
been
the
here
hell it
since.
is.
That's right. Yeah,
Both of
that
them.
was the biggest thing too last week. Getting rid of his
Yeah.
ass finally.
And they brought up other arms. I mean, that what is his last name is Davis. I'm spacing out on his first
Luke
name.
Yeah.
Davis.
They both kind of throw hard, and you're like, all right. I mean, if you can be more serviceable than Jordan Leisure or Beto, who seemed to throw like 50 pitches every time you went out there, I'm all for it. So I will say, though, in my opinion, I don't think you start giving Grant Taylor the 8th inning unless Brian Hudson slips from whatever high he's on. It's nothing against Grant Taylor, but I mean, have him where if there's a guy that only pitches 5 innings, you have Taylor take 2 of the. If it's a close game where you need it, you have Taylor take 2 innings. You have Hudson come in, and then you just let Dominguez close it out. I don't like all this shifting around shit. They just got to stick with stuff. That's working.
I agree with that sentiment.
So then the big 3 bats, all of them are on pace for over 30 home runs at this point. So I just figured we'd do a quick quarter way through heat check on where do we think they all wind up. So we'll start with Mooney, and I will say he is going to hit at least 40. I'll stick at 40. I don't want to get too aggressive there.
40 is a good number. They haven't had a guy hit 40 since Todd Frazier, so that's a great benchmark for him. So I'll go with 42. That's where my brain was at. I know what he's pacing. I understand that what he's pacing. 48.
Yeah, well, even Vargas is pacing like 37 or something at this point. Like, yeah, I mean, they're all. I mean, it's very. Tino, what do you think Mooney's gonna go?
Yeah, I think around like 40, 45 right around. I think if he goes on a couple home, I mean, we've seen 3 in a row. If he does something like that, who knows? Maybe he does hit the 50 or something. I think he could be somebody that very well could be competing in the home run derby as much as I don't want.
Oh, they're going to put him in the home run derby.
They're going to put him in there. So it's just going to be one of those. That's what I feel like. That's what I kind of worry about because we know when we've seen it in the past how things happen after the home run derby. So, but it's just nice. It's fun to watch this guy, and his plate discipline is so much fun to watch. And yeah, he still swings at pitches that maybe he shouldn't, but he gets the walks, he gets the at bats he needs, and he's been hitting singles and doubles finally. So that's good the last couple weeks. So yeah, but like 40, 45, I think for him would be.
Before we move off of him, I did want to point out, I don't know if any of you saw this crazy statistic. He has homered in the first game of like 8 series in a row, or is it all season? Is it been 8 series, or is it? No, whatever it is, but still, I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's such an interesting fact that sure. Did you guys see that interview with his translator last week? That guy is so funny and so interesting, and
after the game.
I don't know. Because they talked about the scouting report too, and just how many teams just completely just like missed it, and they're calling Chris Katz and saying that he's just this gold mine find and everything. So I think everything happens for a reason with this. So just happy.
Being a translator for an MLB potential superstars can't really beat it unless you're Shohei Ohtani's translator, and that's a whole different story. Your job sucks now because you're in prison.
It's actually the worst job. You're the fall guy.
I mean, 8 months ago, the guy was, I think he said he just had like a regular retail job. So it's crazy to think. And he said they didn't know where they were going to go. So like, he was like waiting to find out what city and everything else like that. Cause it was like a whole like job interview process. I didn't realize like that was the whole, like the process they actually went through to get somebody like that. Cause obviously I guess you got to find somebody that like clicks with you, you know? So
then we'll move on to Colson and we'll let Tino start. What do you think Colson will wind up with?
What's he at now? 9 or no?
I think he has 10 and Vargas has 9. I could be wrong on that though.
I think he get hit around like 25, 30.
Yeah, I think he'll break the 30 mark. I mean, he's pacing 40. If they're a quarter of the way through the season, he's pacing 40. 30 is a fair number to put on him right now if he stays healthy.
That's
And
that's the
then
biggest.
I'm going to say Colson's going to go crazy and do 35. Or what you said, 30?
Yeah, 35 is feasible too. I mean, we're still waiting to see what they do when the weather heats up too.
That's what I mean. At home, when it gets hot, I think some of these games are going to be. And they already now, a lot of their home runs are not by any means like just clearing the wall either. No. I mean, they're mashing the baseball even in lower temperature at this point. So I'll go 35, and then Vargas. Justin, what do you got for Vargas? He's streaky, so it's hard to guess. I think.
I know. I would be. I'll just go with what I'd be happy with. I'd be happy with 25.
Okay.
I know he's on pace for what would that be? 36, but 25.
I'm gonna say 28. Different number. I feel you're right. He's streaky, but I feel like he'll get a little streak that he has. Like I didn't even realize. What did he have a 2-run home run game this weekend? Was that the second game of the series?
Yeah, Saturday he had 2.
So that's just the thing where if he has a couple more like that, I think he'll definitely get it. But yeah, I mean, so I think he'll definitely be in the high 20s though for sure. But 28 is my guess right now.
I'm going to be a little aggressive here and say he hits the 30 mark. I think when some of these other bats establish themselves a little bit more in the lineup, it's going to be very difficult for pitchers to maneuver through at least like the top 6 or 7 guys more than it already is now. I mean, there are certain at-bats, I will say, Benintendi, like he's been hitting the ball harder, but some of his at-bats, you might as well have just walked up and said, I give up, and walk back to the dugout, because there are certain strikeouts you're like, what the either you're swinging at stuff that's out of the zone, or you just have no business even trying to catch whatever velocity or break is on pitches you're just hacking at. So that's kind of how I feel with that. But yeah, I'll go with 30 for Vargas. Thoughts on the Randall Grichuk signing? Either of you? I don't think anyone's going to complain about it because they were kind of in a pinch there. But to add to that, they also re-added Dustin Harris on a minor league deal today. So they keep adding to the depth, which seems to be allowing the outfield to stay afloat with all the injuries and crap going on out there.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Randall Grichuk is long for this team. With the injuries out there right now, it makes sense. And obviously, it's really easy to say that after he homered twice this weekend. He had a really big one yesterday. So, yeah, no, I mean, it's a classic White Sox. He literally played in the outfield with Tommy Pham in St. Louis when they were both at the beginning of their careers. And that's kind of what it's like at Tommy Pham. It's a journeyman at the end of his career. And, I always liked Grichuk. So, yeah, as long as he hangs around and can produce somewhat at the bottom of the order is fine. But I don't think unless he's really hitting the cover off the ball, I can't imagine he's still here. And, once people come back and, you figure Hayes is out, Pereira's out. They're saying Braden Montgomery, they're already singing for Braden Montgomery. You run out of roster spots.
Well, that too, because, I mean, Kelenic has been hitting more for contact. He's had pretty much zero power, really, based off of what I've seen. Obviously, I missed some of the games last week. And then you have Grichuk, who is not going to hit for power, or is not going to hit for average, but obviously has ridiculous power when he does make contact. So it's going to get interesting because I think they said Hayes has already been taking live BP. So what that means or how long they want to rehab, I wouldn't rush him back considering he's now gone on the IL twice.
I was going to say, I don't know.
Same with Pereira too, though. I mean, both of them have hit IL stints twice, so
no reason to rush him when Grichuk is going out there and hitting home runs. I mean, yeah, like you guys said, he's like our journeyman of the year, where we get a freaking Tommy Pham and he's gonna come in and hit a couple home runs. But I mean, he's being productive. He's going out there. I mean, I think the biggest surprise, and I think a month ago we were all coming for Tristan Peters' head, but this guy is coming out bunting, swinging, stealing, doing all the things, and I mean, it's serviceable.
Peters is safe because he can play center field. No one else we've talked about is a center fielder.
No, and we cannot put Acuna out there anymore. And that's the one thing. Yeah. Has anybody realized how less he's played this week and how he hasn't really played starting and that's not a bad thing. I feel, and it kind of sucks, but it's seeming
No,
like
it's
that
great. It's the
trade.
best thing that's happened this year.
Okay,
yeah.
we could just pile on now because I was going to touch on him later in the show. I was literally my one talking point was
saw that
Acuna
in there.
continues riding the pine. How soon is he a DFA candidate? And I'm talking realistic. Chris Getz, like, I'm not saying you have to have him the whole season. Like, there may just be a point where Getz is like, I mean, we just don't have the roster spot. DFA him, and if he clears waivers, throw him in Charlotte to figure it out or be depth. But how soon do you think that is?
Well, I'll go back to what I just said about Tristan Peters is my only thing with Acuna. He's the worst player on the team, but he can play center field, or at least he can try to play center field. I don't know, I know Kelnick and Grichuk are not center fielders, certainly not at this point in their careers. Sam Antonacci just learned the outfield this year. He's not a center fielder. Austin Hayes isn't a center fielder. Everson Pereira, I don't think, is a center fielder. Derek Hill can play center. Tristan Peters can play center. That would be, I don't know.
It's hard because really you don't need Peters and Hill. It's going to reach a point where one of those two you're going to have to decide. I would probably lean towards Tristan Peters.
Well, they would too.
Although,
every day damn near, it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, Hill's not been bad though. He's
not.
I would that like clutch homer he had the one game. I mean,
the San Diego game, yeah. But to your point though, you don't like, and then you're like Acuna has the offsetting skill set of like he's a base stealer and all that jazz. I would hope that he's the first to go when any of these guys are ready to come back. But I don't know. I don't think it'll happen that way. So you want realistic, like 4th of July or so, whenever they decide to really turn it on again, like they did last year when they called Montgomery up.
Yeah, probably when Braden comes up, I feel like is when they would actually do that.
I honestly
doesn't Braden play center, or is he the right fielder?
He's a right fielder.
Is he right field? Okay.
I think they've tried playing him in some. I think they're trying to at least get guys that come up and are capable or at least tolerable at multiple spots in the outfield because I pretty much before they started adding these guys who have worked out, last year was horrendous in the outfield. You had Benintendi in left field a shit ton of times. So with that, I don't know. I would have said 2 weeks ago Acuna wouldn't be DFA'd all season, but with how much they're not playing him, I mean, you're getting Derek Hill pinch hit at bats before you're getting Acuna at bats when Will's starting to trot him out in certain games. So I question whether they're like keeping him on the roster because they don't feel they should DFA him at this point and working with him on the side. And that's why it's like reset him up here because he doesn't have the ability to necessarily go straight down to the minors. Otherwise, I can't. If Braden Montgomery gets the call at the 4th of July or anywhere around there, you'd have to kind of be like, well, Acuna, it's been nice, but thank you for paying Luis Roberts' contract, essentially. So, and Sir Anthony Dominguez or however you want to twist that tail. So,
is what it is.
Yeah, they'll come an expiration date.
Yeah,
but the ability to put center is definitely a factor right now.
So then, before we move on from the outfield, Sam Antonacci, I know I probably a week or two ago said he hadn't done enough for me to be that impressed. Kind of have changed my tune. I personally think, barring like him being dinged up or something, everyday left fielder at this point defensively, he occasionally will make an error and it's totally a learning curve. It's not necessarily like he's an idiot and doesn't know what he's doing out there. But that catch, was it? Yesterday. I think it was, I mean, he's had a ton of this weekend, really. He had a few good catches where you're like, okay.
Yeah, he did have one Saturday too. Yeah. He's good to get dirty. That's good.
And just the way he runs the bases and hustles. And I mean, Antonacci. It's all just, Antonacci.
Did you guys see this man doing the freaking? He was fucking like acting like a spider or some shit in the fucking.
No, he was barking at Vargas.
Barking at the dog.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? Like, but that's the type
No,
of
it's
stuff
great.
like they just haven't had. It's the fun that everybody's having, and like you said, everybody's hanging out and everything. I don't know. Sam Antonacci might be the one player for me that has actually like gone and like just impressed me the most with what he's coming up and doing. And like that play he made, that's kind of the same play that Murray made where he like broke his elbow or fractured all his. And it kind of scared me at first, but he slid the right way, and it just those are the types of things that And didn't he have a big hit? Was it Friday night? Right? That to tie it was that. Was it 5-5? I think we tied. Or was that Saturday? I don't remember. But
he had a hit before Colson tied the game that inning.
was it?
Yeah.
'Cause I just remember
later that inning. Colson cleared the bases, but Antonacci drove in the first run of the inning.
that's right.
His average is up now though too. He's starting to hit.
I'm a huge fan of his.
He's doing great in the leadoff spot too. Is the
Yes.
other thing. Like Chase doesn't have to lead off anymore. Where we thought Chase was going to be the leadoff guy, but Sam's done very well. And I mean,
yes, I think yes to everyday left fielder. At worst, he is platooning with Austin Hayes when Hayes is back.
at least for
Yeah.
now.
We already
Never bad to have
talked.
too much depth. If everybody could just stay healthy, especially outfield.
Basically, just stay healthy.
And literally.
So we kind of touched on every. The only other question I wanted to ask is which team currently in the AL Central or teams, but I mean, there's really. Let's just stick with one team per whatever we. Who do you view as the biggest threat? Obviously, Detroit was, but now that Scooble's hurt, you kind of have to factor that in. Which team, if you had to guess today, would be the biggest threat in the Sox having some miracle pipe dream little pennant run here or whatever?
Cleveland, just because it's that just who I would default to in that division for the last decade now.
Okay. Tino?
No specific reason for this team in particular. We haven't played them yet. I've not watched any of them this year, but
Did you say the Guardians? Is that who you're talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean I think so. They're 21-21 right now. They're winning right now, and I think they're gonna be the biggest challenge. But the one thing is about the White Sox, I think they have played the Guardians pretty decent. Was it no, maybe not the Guardians? No, I don't
Better
know.
than they played Kansas City or Detroit, I'll tell you that.
So I mean, if they again, it's just gonna go. It depends how they play it. I mean, everybody is so bunched up. I mean, I'm looking at the standings right now from the Rangers all the way to the Twins. They're 19-21 and 18-23. So it's all honestly going to come back next week when, depending on what they do against the Royals and the Cubs, where we're sitting next week, and who knows, it could all change, and that's the biggest thing for me. So, I mean, I think the Guardians are the biggest with School being out, and I mean the Royals and Twins, they haven't really been too impressive, it seems. So, I don't know, and I just think that the Sox just need to keep playing good, and I don't even know when we play the Guardians or any of them first. Like, I think that's not even until like the end of May, June, maybe. So,
Yeah, I
still a
don't think
little
it's
bit of
till
time.
June for the Guardians.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean the Guardians at this point, I think it'll be interesting to see how much Scooble's injury impacts the Tigers, because at a certain point, if they skid or slide enough, Scooble's in the last year of control. And if they're not extending him, do they then look to flip him, which then just kind of signifies
Yeah.
we're going to just cash it in this year, get our prospects and recoup next year or whatever.
And that might be
It could get intriguing because they said, I don't know, I've seen like multiple reports where, I mean, if it's till like the end of June or something crazy like that, who knows what the Tigers do? Because I think Gleyber Torres is also on the IL now. And I really haven't heard anything impressive. I mean, they're kind of just floating like the rest of us at this point. So
Yeah, no, they're no better than anybody else in the division right now.
I mean, in the American League in general, there's two teams that are, or I guess three teams that have a run differential in the positives. And I mean, it's insane. I think it's all the pitching. the pitching for the American League obviously isn't the best, and I mean we see it. The pitching is so. I mean, look at the Orioles. The Orioles were great for a couple of years, but they never went and got their pitching that they needed to get at the time, and it just so. I mean, that's the thing. And the way the White Sox pitching is, we talked about it. They have one of the what is it, the second or third best ERA, or is it the best ERA in MLB right now? So
from the rotation.
Yeah, the rotation.
Oh, like okay. Because I was going to say, like, their overall, their bullpen arms have really jaded.
Rotation ERA is top 5, I think.
So that's the thing too, where it's like if the pitching and everything stays like that, it just, I don't know, it's like I just don't want to get too excited. That's just my thing. It's like I'm just trying to enjoy it because we haven't
day at a time.
You know, that's literally, so that's where it's at. Because again, next week, who knows where it's at when after we play the Royals and the Cubs. So. Yeah,
I think I texted you on Friday, Justin, and I was like, "Oh, it's going to be a bumpy ride or whatever," and you just replied, "No, they just suck."
Yeah,
because it is like
this team's just a roller coaster. I said, I think they're just terrible.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
3 days ago.
I mean, that's kind of how it's going to be, though, because they say, I mean, certain things that they are just learning at this point how to win together.
They're all still so young, too. They're all still in their early 20s. That it's still insane to think about that. I mean, the average age has to be, what, 25, 26 on this team around? So
it's young. I don't know what the exact number is.
I would guess somewhere like mid-20s. I mean, you don't really have even some of your older guys are like early 30s, if that. But yeah, 2 series at home this week. We got 3 versus Kansas City and 3 versus the Cubs. I think the third game versus Kansas City is still up in the air who's going to pitch, but I believe it's Fedde on Tuesday and then Noah Schultz on Wednesday. What are we thinking for this series?
They my opinion of what I think will happen. They have to win 2 out of 3. The division series at home are going to need to be won this year. If anything that we're sitting on here bullshitting about is going to come to fruition in any capacity.
Yeah,
because with how tight it is, with how they are not good teams, and it's the mental hurdle of actually being able to beat these teams now that have just owned you the last few seasons.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think it's a way to make a statement too. Like, enough of this shit. We're no longer like the doormat that you're just going to come into our stadium and stomp on us. Like, we're done with that. So,
yeah. Well, that's the biggest point is they've been doing it. I think a lot to the MLB this year. They need to prove to everybody that they're not this White Sox team that's got Andersons and the Moncadas and the Roberts. That these are a whole new White Sox team that when you go and play them, they're not going to sit down and they're not going to shut up. They're going to fight until the end of the game. We've seen it even the games that they've lost. They've come a hit away from having a couple other walk-offs and a couple more wins. So, I mean, that's the thing. And Justin said it perfectly. It doesn't matter what we think. They need to win 2 out of 3 in this series because we win 2 out of 3. We're 21 and 23 or whatever, 22 and 23 or whatever the heck it is. And I mean, and we have a game on the Royals. So that's the biggest thing. So we could be in a different place by after that series before we play the Cubs. So 2 out of 3 at home, especially, is huge. So I think that's what they need.
Yeah, I was going to go 2 out of 3 for Kansas City. I mean, they'll probably lose 1, but I will go first for the Cubs series. I am going to say on record, here, they're going to sweep the Cubs.
Sweep them. Fuck it. Sweep them. I don't care. Bring out the
this entire team is full of ball players and competitors, and I think they're going to come in with a chip on their shoulder, especially after just the last few seasons in general, how they've gone. This is a way to be like, no, there's some noise on the other side of the city now. That's just my opinion. What do you guys got?
I hope that they're as fired up and taking it as personally as we will be. That's a bit heavy though. I'll say 2 out of 3 because don't want to predict losing a series to the Cubs, but they're gonna have an uphill battle, man, and it'll be the biggest crowd and environment a lot of these guys have played in front of. And so, however much they might want it, and I'm not disagreeing with that and your mentality of them, but they're going to have to rise to a pretty big moment. And for a lot of them, it's going to be that first time really being challenged to do so. I So that's my hesitation. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on themselves, and I love that they will. But I wish more so if that were the case that this series was falling in June or July. I think it's a little early in the year. Of note, though, the Cubs will be coming off playing in Atlanta. They just got shut out back-to-back games. I think they ended up losing without a run yesterday to the Rangers. So they could come in on a skid, and I don't know how that factors in for the Sox. If that means that they're going to dig their cleats in and get right, or if it's going to be, or if it's just going to avalanche. So that's as big a factor as anything, I think, too.
And I just don't trust the Cubs pitching overall, to be completely honest with you. Like,
I don't, but they have a little bit of that Brewers devil magic going on right now. They're winning the way they're winning some of these games is, but yes, eventually the rent has to come due on that for sure.
You're absolutely right. The way they're winning games right now is absolutely insane, and it's like I don't hate it as much as I did before, but it still bothers me. But I mean, man, it's insane to watch how fast for a baseball team to watch how fast they rose after getting rid of the Rizzos and the Baezes and the Bryants and seeing the way those guys are playing. And you're absolutely right. Everything you said is right. The biggest stage, and it's going to be like playoff baseball. It's going to be World Series baseball atmosphere that they're going to be. It's going to be insane that the amount of things, especially on Friday night, because it'll be Friday night access, right? Because we're at Comiskey this weekend, right?
There are home games.
So that's another thing too. And so I'm gonna be realistic. I would love to sweep them, but I think they'll win at least one game. And if they can at least win one versus the Cubs, we haven't played greatest against the Cubs the last 4 years. So I'll just take any type of progress with them. But yeah, let's beat the shit out of the Cubs. Fuck the Cubs.
I think the last
3-3 this week, and I'll be happy with
that.
4-2, I'll be elated.
Yeah, we'll be having a party 5-1.
I will say I do feel like the Sox, though, in like recent years, have played better at Wrigley than they have at the rate against the Cubs.
They've always played good at Wrigley. I don't know what it is. They always love playing at Wrigley Field. Like throughout the years, I always feel like we've had like a couple really good games that they've had, especially in 2020 when Jose was hitting all the home runs. Those were fun.
So, but that's all I got there. I think Mooney's now in second for league leader in home runs. I think, Schwarber and Judge have more now. So hopefully he starts this Kansas series off with another homer and just makes it 9 in a row tomorrow. And
how about he does it for me Friday and makes it 10?
There you go.
Yeah,
that's such an interesting streak. I didn't even know that. And the fact you said that now, I want to kind of keep an eye on that because that's absolutely insane. The fact that it's been like a month and a half and that's just been something that just like randomly has happened, which is insane. And it's one of those things when he comes up to the plate. Yeah, he obviously has his strikeouts or whatever, but man, he gets a hold of one. That thing goes so far. It's absolutely insane. So.
His signing has completely altered the trajectory of how this whole rebuild and whatever was going to go. Now, the whole question is obviously, do they extend him or whatever? They're not going to trade him this year. That would just be idiotic. So I don't know why anyone even goes down that road. But he's going to probably demand some decent money based off of his performance. So it'll be interesting to see how deep the pockets go in the White Sox ownership standpoint, because to me, I think you sign him and the contract pays itself. It doesn't, the national attention, the international attention for your organization, and just jersey sales alone should pretty much cover any sort of money you're going to have to throw at him. And he's just like an all-around fun person, like player to watch.
Yeah.
His attitude in the dugout and stuff. You have like Vassell like casting spells on him with a wand after he hits a home run, and he's like into it. It's not like this like fake. Remember, what was it 2 years ago? They had that like jacket and hat that the guys would like put on when they hit a home run in the dugout, and it was like, we are literally the worst team ever in the history of the game, and you assholes are putting on a jacket and acting tough when you hit a homer every 10 games or whatever. I don't know. All of that stuff is really exciting to me to see that they're all just this big unit
It
that
goes
is
a long way,
having
man,
a
especially with
blast.
the young team. They love playing together. They love playing baseball.
Yeah.
That's
And I mean,
it's great. There's a lot of personalities in that dugout. It's all that stuff matters, man. And that shit doesn't show up in analytics on spreadsheets or anything like that. That's, meeting guys and making a cognizant effort of the kind of team that you're putting together, not a collection of individuals.
Well, and even like Vassell and Teal being at every single game and like traveling on the road with the team, even though like Vassell knows he's not playing all year, but he
Yeah,
still
right.
is like, I can at least impact like
The vibes.
the temperature vibes in the dugout or clubhouse. So
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. No, I agree completely.
And he's going out of his way to do it. Like, he doesn't have to. He could sit at home and just sit here like I have my brace on and sit here and watch TV and this that. But he's doing it, and that's the thing. It's like they want to be there. We're like I was watching the thing this morning about benches clearing and fights and everything, and I swear there was like 6 White Sox fights within a matter of like 4 years, from 2019 to like 2023. And I was just like, what is like this? This is why we were so bad. Everybody was fucking fighting with each other and arguing, and I guess I didn't realize. So, and that's the thing. Nobody's fighting. Everybody's happy. And Murakami's, I think that's the biggest thing with Murakami is the way his attitude is and everything. I don't think anybody expected him to be like this free and this like out there and just be like real, because usually, like you said, it's fake. But he's out there. He loves baseball and he just wants to win, and he's happy to be here. And that's the thing. Like, when the contract does, maybe he will take a little bit of a pay cut or anything else like that just to stay here because he loves it so much. And I mean, it seems like he has. So who knows with that? So, and it, like you said, it's nice to have guys that we can go out there and hit home runs, that we're not waiting 10 days or we're having 10 home run game streaks where, it's just like I said it earlier and I've said it all week, especially like when I'm watching like wrestling and stuff. It's finally fun to watch baseball again. And I don't feel like it's like a chore or a job to do this. And, since we started the podcast, it's kind of what it's felt like. It's just, we're doing this, but it's not fun to watch. And they're finally giving us a reason to watch.
It's because you didn't take on my strategy last year, Tino. After
What
the bullpen took over the game, you just turned it off because they're probably gonna fucking blow it.
Yeah,
you wasted all those extra hours watching.
Tell me about. I mean, I wasted so much hours on this damn team. That's why I said when they become good or anything, I'm just gonna embrace as much because we've been through so much losses as fans, diehard fans that sit here and watch these games every day. It's like, why? Let's just enjoy it because it has not been fun since 2021. That was 5 years ago. So, yeah. Here we are. Ta-da. Is that all you got?
Yep, that's all I got.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys all coming and hanging out. What's up, Clay? What's up, everybody in the chat? Thank you guys all for coming and hanging out all episode long. Make sure you guys check us out all week. Picks to click, all that. And if you did not hear last week, I announced it. I'll announce it again. The winner of the picks to click, not one of us, will figure out something for us three, whoever wins. But you will get a bobblehead, one of you fans. And right now we got about like 20 people got some points. So keep doing all that. We'll be back next week at 5 o'clock for the Southside Boys. I'll be here in an hour for Monday Night Raw. Enjoy your week and let's beat the Cubs. That's what I got to say. Any last words?
Minimally, you gotta go 500 on the week.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Guys, have a great week, and we will see you next week, next Monday at 5 o'clock for another episode.